Now we are into the smaller conferences. We got the Big 12 now. The Big 12 bracket predictions here. This bracket's very interesting. I think a lot of teams could come out of this bracket. And we're gonna start off with TCU and Kent State, my bad, Kansas State, not Kent State. TCU is a team that I feel like they could either come or they couldn't come. They're a team that you never know what's going to happen with them. You don't know. They could show up and they couldn't show up. Kansas State, on the other hand, they're just the more consistent team. You typically know what you're going to get out of a Kansas State basketball game. And yeah, the records show that TCU's better. But Kansas State is probably the team that I would be safest with betting on. So I'm going to take Kansas State to go up against Baylor. Doesn't matter who plays Baylor. I'm gonna spoil it for you right now. Neither team is going to beat Baylor, so it doesn't matter who wins this game. Then we get Oklahoma, Ohio State. Oklahoma is a team that has been struggling as of late, but they're still a very good team. Don't get it wrong. I think Oklahoma is going to figure it out. When's this bracket start? On the 10th. What is that? Wednesday. I think they'll figure it out Wednesday. I think they'll figure it out. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. Wait a minute. So, does the ACC start tomorrow then? I'll look it up, actually. I don't know. I don't want to hold you guys here too long for irrelevant stuff if you're here just to see the Big 12. But that leaves Baylor and Kansas State. And unfortunately for Kansas State, I don't see how it's possible to beat Baylor. Jared Butler. That one dude that I'm going to be honest, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. But he's very good. We have Davion Mitchell there. Yeah, that Mayer dude. Baylor basketball roster. I know who it is. This dude. I think this dude's pretty good. He's very athletic. He was big in that Illinois game. Jonathan, I don't want to even try to pronounce that, but I think this dude's pretty good. Or at least he's impactful from at least the Illinois game and the few games that I have watched. I watched some more recently. I did watch their West Virginia game. And Baylor, they're going to win this game against Kansas State. They just outmatch them in every aspect. You can't stop 3 different players when you got Mayer going for 15, when you got Davion Mitchell going for 15, when you got Jared Butler going for 15, when you got some impactful defensive players, when you got Vitale there. I don't know how you stop them. I don't know how. Sorry, Kansas State, but I don't know how. A lot of teams can't stop them, so don't take it as anything that's negative towards your team. I just don't know how you stop Baylor. I don't. There's only one team in this conference that I think can, and that is actually going to be West Virginia. But do I think West Virginia can beat Oklahoma State? I don't know. And before I say my prediction, I just want to make sure that Cade Cunningham will be playing. Now, he did injure his ankle, but I don't know whether or not he won't play. He's not the only Oklahoma State that won't play. Isaac Lickley. I don't know Cade Cunningham's status. I don't. There's no update on Cade. I think if Cade is in this game, that significantly increases the chances of Oklahoma State winning. If Cade does not play, I don't think there's a chance that West Virginia loses. The only chance I can see for Oklahoma State is if Cade Cunningham plays, and I don't know whether or not he will be. And because I don't know whether or not Cade Cunningham, one of the top players in the country, will be playing, I'm going to have to go with West Virginia. I'm sorry, but we're going to get that Baylor-West Virginia match that was pretty good the other time, or the last last week when we saw it. Then we get Kansas versus Oklahoma. Kansas is a team that is going to be very interesting. They are a team that is perennially a good team. They have Agbaji there, who I think is a really solid player. But Oklahoma is a team that I think if they get hot, they could be very dangerous. And I don't know whether or not they are going to be getting hot at this point. But Kansas, they already know what they are. They already know who they are. I'm gonna have to go with Kansas. I'm gonna go with Kansas. Oklahoma could win that game. Depending on how much momentum they get from that Iowa State game, Oklahoma could easily win that game. I think that's going to be a close game. I think Oklahoma has a legitimate shot to even possibly go into the championship of this whole bracket here and possibly play Baylor or West Virginia or Oklahoma State or whoever makes it out. Then we get Texas versus Texas Tech, and I was gonna, on the thumbnail, I was going to use Mac McClung. I did not end up using Mac McClung, I don't believe. But Texas, and I was also going to use Greg Brown Jr. Or my bad, Greg Brown the third, second, whatever it is. I was gonna use Greg Brown, and then I thought about Kai Jones, but none of the images were sufficient enough to be in the thumbnail. So I ended up going with Courtney Ramey. But Texas Tech, it's going to be a battle between the two Texas teams. I don't know if I think Texas Tech has a legitimate shot. I'm going to be honest. Texas, I think the athleticism from Greg Brown, Kai Jones is really athletic too. Courtney Ramey is a very good player. Jones is a very good player. I just think Texas outmatches them. I just think that they're going to outmatch them. There's too many players on Texas. Their team is too deep, and you got Shaka Smart there. They're just, I don't know. I don't know how Texas Tech beats them. I don't see how Texas struggles again. I don't. And that leaves a Final Four, which is actually the top 4 teams in this bracket. I know. Nothing crazy here in the Big 12. I don't have DePaul making a big run. I don't have Ohio State, the 5th seed, making it. I know. Very, very normal looking bracket now. The ones that won should win. That's the ones that should won in my bracket. Baylor and West Virginia, I'm going to have to keep that same momentum. I think West Virginia is the only team in this conference that could honestly give Baylor a run for their money. So that might be spoiling the champion. West Virginia is a good team. I think if you get them on the right day, they could beat Baylor. But I don't think they're going to get them on the right day. I honestly don't know what day would be the right day, but Baylor is they're just gonna steamroll through that side of the bracket. Then you got Texas versus Kansas. Kansas, like I said, they're a solid team. They could lose to Oklahoma. Texas, on the other hand, they're a deeper team. They have a good coach. I'm gonna go off on a limb. This might be a very wrong limb, but for the first time, I'm gonna take the underdog here. I'm gonna be taking Texas. I just like the athleticism that Texas brings with Kai Jones and Greg Brown. And I'm a big fan of Courtney Ramey. I think they have a solid chance to win that game. So Texas could be a dark horse, but that leaves one Texas matchup, which we had. We didn't have a Texas matchup over here, did we? No, we didn't. TCU would have won. We would have. But that leaves 2 Texas matchups here. And unfortunately, the result will not be the same for this Texas team because Baylor is going to win. I don't know how you stop Jared Butler. I don't know how you stop Vitale. I don't know how you stop it. I don't know how you stop it unless you have a Kofi Coburn, unless you have a Jalen Suggs on your bench or on your roster, unless you have a Colin Gillespie. You have to have one of these elite players or somebody that can hinder Baylor from doing what they want to do. An AyoDos, a Luka Garza. You have to have one of those elite players if you want to contend with Baylor. And I like Greg Brown. I like Kai Jones. I like Courtney Ramey. I like a lot of Texas's team. I think they have a really good coach, but you don't have that elite player to stop Baylor. And I think that's going to be what it needs to take to beat Baylor. Maybe a Cade Cunningham. Maybe if Oklahoma State wins, they got a shot at Baylor. I don't know. I feel like West Virginia is the closest thing you got to beating Baylor in this conference. But I think Baylor's coming out. I think they're coming out. So I got Baylor winning the Big 12 and advancing. As everybody knows, there will be a 1 seed anyways in March Madness. Baylor is going to be a team to watch for in the March Madness. I think they could go far. And they definitely went far here in this Big 12 bracket. But for right now, make sure you guys go check out all the other videos. The Big 10 video will be the last one uploaded today. Make sure you go check all that stuff out, and make sure you guys enjoy it. Click that like button, click that subscribe button. We're going hard in the month of March. We're trying to make it big. We're going for March Madness. There'll be daily reactions to what happens. For if there's an upset, believe me, we'll be on it. We'll be on it day of. As soon as all the games are done, I'll be coming on here and I'll be letting you guys know what I think of the games, what I think going forward. If I think that the team or an injury is going to make a team struggle, believe me, we're going to be all over this tournament, all over March Madness. We won't be all over the conference tournaments because, quite honestly, I'm not going to be able to focus on all these conference tournaments as I would March Madness. March Madness, it's much more accessible, but obviously the Big 10 tournament is going to be one I pay close attention to. Pac-12 is going to be one I pay close attention to. The ACC maybe even, but March Madness, we are going to be going very hard. So make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you comment down below who you think is going to be the Big 12 champions. If you don't say Baylor, I don't know who you think. Maybe West Virginia. And if you say Oklahoma State, I'm sorry, but you're just on that that Cade Cunningham bandwagon. Yeah. I'm not going to lie to you guys. You're kind of a bandwagon. Just because he's going to be the number 1 overall pick. But your pick should be Baylor. Or West Virginia. Maybe West Virginia. If West Virginia beats Baylor, maybe you can have somebody else come out the other side and win the whole thing. I don't know. But I don't know how you would have Baylor lose to anybody outside of West Virginia. So if that's not, I don't know. But I'm going to get on out of here. It's been Gamers Goon. Make sure you do all the things I just said. And I'll be seeing you guys in what will probably be the SEC video, because I kind of want to put the Pac-12 right before the Big 10, because those are the two that I'll be paying the most attention to. So I'll be seeing you guys in